Good morning. How are you all doing today? Good? Yeah. Sorry? Yeah, so this is Rebecca, and I'm Julian. She's obviously the cellist. I'm going to be playing the organ, and I hope you can understand our English accents. Who here can speak with an English accent? Wow. I won't ask you to demonstrate. Maybe later. So we're going to start by playing you a piece by a Hungarian composer called Zsolt Gardonyi. And this piece, you get to hear the organ at its most loud and its most quiet. Okay, so we're going to start by playing you this piece, and then we will explain a little bit more about it. So we hope you enjoy this first piece.
Thank you so much for sitting and listening so fantastically well. You were fantastic. I hope that you enjoyed seeing everything that we can do. We thought that is a great piece because you hear the organ play all those notes all at once, and you all looked fascinated by Julian's feat. And I'm sure he'll show you all about that later, but it's incredible to see how many things he's doing at one time. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about my instrument here. Now, who can shout out what it is? Cello. Good, that's fantastic. Hands up who plays the cello. Oh, do you play the cello? Your sister plays the cello. Wow, that is fantastic. Does anybody play the violin? Oh, a few people play the violin. Very good. Well, that's great. Well, this is like a big version of the violin, and it belongs to the strings family, and this is like the mummy instrument. So you think of there being like baby instruments like the violin, and then maybe aunts and uncles would be the viola, which is a bit bigger than the violin. The cello's like the mummy or the daddy, and then you've got the double bass, which is massive and makes a very low sound. Do you think that my cello mainly makes a low sound or a high sound? Shout out, that's fine. Low. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Can someone hold my microphone? Could I ask you to hold my microphone? Thank you. I'm going to play my lowest note. Can anyone sing that note? Can anyone do it? No. But I also have, sorry, you've got my microphone there. I also have very high notes. Can everyone do that note? So it's very good. I'm just going to take the microphone back, thank you. It's very versatile. You can hear it has a really lovely big range. And lots of people say that the cello sounds like a human voice because you can hear all kinds of voices in there. It's a very colourful instrument. I'm going to go back up there so I can sit down and show you a little bit more while I'm sitting down. You'll notice I can't really fit it under my chin like I would a violin. It's a bit tricky. So I'm going to go and sit down again and play some bits for you. Yeah, that'd be great. My assistant here. So I'm going to make some funny little noises first. Let's see. I think I'm going to make a little kitten. Can you all listen for the little kitten? And what about a motorbike? And what else can we do? Ooh, a little mouse. And then I can play any tune you like. So let's think. Do you all watch The Simpsons? Yeah, okay, let's try that. There we go. And, thank you. And also, I don't know if you noticed, in the piece of music that Julian and I just played, sometimes I use this. Does anybody know what this is called? Yes? The bow, absolutely right. This is the bow. And just to explain a little bit about it, this white bit here looks a bit like plastic. It's actually made of a horse's tail. I bet some of you knew that already. And lots of people worry that I've had to kill lots of horses so that my bow has enough hair, but it's just like you having a haircut, so no horses are harmed in hairing my bow. And what happens is this connects with these metal things here. What are these called? Strings. Brilliant. You're good at shouting out. Thank you. They are strings. And see, I've just got, I wonder if I could have a volunteer, actually. Can someone come out? Let's see. Who I'm going to go? I'm going to go with the little girl with the pigtails. Yes, I think you. Come out. And I wonder if you could come and count my strings for me. Tell me how many I've got. 4. Absolutely right. And do you want to play one? No. Maybe I'll have someone else. We'll go and sit down. Can I have another volunteer? Someone at the back with the pink jumper on. Yes, in the very back. That's you. Yes, you. And I'm going to get more volunteers, don't worry. Could you come over here and find the thickest string and pluck that one? See if you can find the thickest one and just pull it. This one here. Woohoo! Well done, fantastic. You can go and sit down again. Well done, played a cello. That word, for fluid with plucking, we call that pizzicato. And I don't know if you noticed that I was doing that. When I play with a bow, we call that arco. Now, could I have one more volunteer? Can I have a boy, please? Let me see. I think little boy in the blue, third row. Yes, you know. This one here. Sorry. I'd love to get you all, but there's not time. Right, you're actually going to need to sit down for this. This is serious stuff. Okay, can you hold the bow? Okay, and we're going to go. Ooh, is that nice? There we go. Give him a round of applause. That was good. Very good. Great. So if you have questions about the cello, we'll have them later. I'm going to pass over to Julian now, so you can save your questions up. We'll have a big question session later.
Okay, so who here plays the organ? Oh, wow. We've got an organist in the house. What's your name? Oh, how long have you played the organ for? About 2 months. 2 months, wow. Well, I might need you to come and help me later. Okay. Apart from our friend here, does anybody know how the organ works? Yes. What do you think?
Buttons?
Yeah, the buttons are a big part of it. Anything else? Yeah.
The foot stamps help the sound vibrate.
Yeah.
So we can make like the big beats and the little beats. The big beats are on the left side, the little beats are on the right side.
Wow, exactly. Anybody else got anything on the organ they think helps make it work? Yeah.
The footsteps?
Yeah, the bits you play with your feet, absolutely. What do you think makes the organ work over here?
The pipes?
Ah, yes, the pipes. Can we all see the pipes? So if you look, they're kind of lit up in blue at the back there. Who knows how many pipes there are? Shout it out. There are over 6,000. That's right, Margaret, isn't it? Yeah. There are over 6,000. And they range in length from about this high to 32 feet, which is pretty big. Okay? And depending on how big the pipe is, that's what gives you the different sounds. And as Margaret said earlier, this is a very famous organ, and it's got some incredibly different and interesting sounds. Okay, so we have a sort of basic organ sound, which sounds like this. That's what we call a diapason sound. Then we have lots of fluty sounds, like this one. Then we have, as Becky was saying with her cello, she has very high sounds. We also have very high sounds on the organ, like this. Almost too high to hear, isn't it? And we also have incredibly low sounds, which you play with your feet. This is the lowest sound on the entire organ. Tell me what you think this sounds like. Yeah, shout out, what does that sound like? Yeah, all of those things, yeah. And then there are very low sounds which you can hardly hear. So this one is more like a sort of vibration. So listen very carefully to this. Can you feel your seat vibrating? No? Mine certainly is. And then on this very special organ, there are also some very unusual sounds which you don't get on many organs. So we've got a harp sound, which sounds like this. Quite unusual. And then we have what's called a celesta. And a celesta, if you've ever seen a Harry Potter film, who's seen a Harry Potter film? Okay, at the beginning of the theme of Harry Potter, you get to hear a celesta, so it sounds something like this. Let me just hold my microphone. But that's a sound which is very special to this kind of organ builder. So you don't ever get a sound like that on an organ in England. It's a very American. Aeolian Skinner is the name of the man who built the organ. And it's a sound that you don't get very often. So it's very nice to come here and play on these kind of sounds. Right, where's my organist? Come up here for me. Let's have a demonstration. Have a seat on my, there we go, have a seat on my bench. Again, it might be a bit higher, hang on. Just hold that for a sec. Let's put this down. There we go. That's better. Okay, so let's see if we can play. Have you played with your feet yet? Well, let's find out. So what sort of sound do you want here? What about that one? That's a good one. Have a go with that. Yeah. Do you like loud sounds or soft sounds? What's your favourite?
Kind of loud.
Let's see how loud we can get it to go. I'll tell you what, there's a very dangerous button down here somewhere which says full organ. Let me see if I can find it. There we go. Try that. Whoa. Is that the biggest organ you've ever played, do you think? That's pretty big. What do all these things down here do? So you've got these things in the middle here which open and shut boxes up into pipes. So you can have some pipes which, whoa! That's amazing. There's no stopping him now. Oh. Well, thank you very much for coming in and helping me out with that. You want to go back? Round of applause. Any questions now? Yeah, so we're going to play something else now. What are we going to play now? Yeah. So we're going to now play a bit of a piece which was written a very long time ago. I don't know, what, 300, 400? 350 years ago. Okay? And you'll notice in this piece that I don't use my feet at all. So this is a piece where actually I only play with my hands and I only use about 3 different sounds. So in the last piece you heard me use 60, 70 and all 6,000 pipes. In this piece I'm only going to use about 3 or 4 different sounds and very few pipes.
So I don't know if you noticed, that sounded quite elegant, didn't it? It sounded almost quite polite. And we call that music from the Baroque period. I don't know if you've ever heard of the Baroque period before, but then we're going to carry on now with something that's from the Romantic period, where you'll hear that the sound is probably a little bit warmer. Julian has a lot more to do with his feet, and he's going to pull out lots of different stops, and he'll be very, very busy, so you need to keep your eye on him. But also you notice that I will play some really beautiful melodies, which are almost like a singing voice. And also, I don't know if you'll notice that I've been using my bow a lot, and I'm going to continue using the bow. Can anybody remember the word for playing with the bow? Can you remember? Yes. Yes, can you remember? No, it's arco. Can you all say arco? Arco, brilliant. And can you now say pizzicato? Brilliant. Arco means you play with a bow. Pizzicato means you pluck. I'm going to test you again in a little while, but I will be playing arco. Julian will be very busy, so watch his feet, watch his stops, and enjoy listening to this beautiful melody. We'll play for a few minutes, so you can close your eyes and enjoy it if you like. Anything to say?
Thank you very much. So, am I on? Yes. So before we ask you for some questions, we just want to play you a piece of very modern music. This next piece was actually written by Rebecca's husband, and it's called Smoke Signals. Okay? So we're just going to play a very short bit of this, and then we're going to ask you what images, what pictures came into your mind while we were playing it, because it's a very descriptive piece. So we're going to test you and ask you what pictures form in your mind after we play a little bit of Smoke Signals.
Thank you very much. So that piece was actually only written a few months ago, so that's brand new. So the first piece we played was written 350 years ago, and this one was only written last year. Could you tell a big difference? Could you? Yes, so can we. And that's by Russell Hepplewhite. Does anybody else compose music in the audience? Oh, do you? You've got some composers here. Brilliant. The wonderful thing about composing is it's your own way of making a message to the world. And that's what this piece of music is all about. A smoke signal is a bit like a very, very, very old-fashioned mobile phone. So if something exciting happened 1,000 years ago, and you're in the mountains somewhere on the Great Wall of China or something in a really sort of far-off place, you could send up a big plume of smoke into the sky to say that something had happened. So for instance, if you've run out of milk, send a smoke signal up and hopefully someone will bring you some. Did anybody have any interesting ideas when they were listening to that piece of music? I'll come down. I'm going to come to the back. Hi, yes.
Bad was going to happen.
You thought something bad was going to happen. I think you're probably right, because actually that's probably one of the main reasons why they did a smoke signal, to say, oh, something awful's happened. Very good. Did you have any ideas? Do you have any ideas? Yes. You thought something bad was going to happen as well. Oh dear. Like what kind of bad thing? Anyone else got any ideas? We'll go this side. Yes. Someone was dying. Maybe. Oh dear. Possibly. And one more person. Yes.
Fire?
A fire! Brilliant. Absolutely right. And actually, that would have been quite handy to have a smoke signal if you had a fire, wouldn't it? So. I think we're probably going to answer some questions for you now. You have just been so fantastic and sitting and listening. Did you enjoy listening to the music? Brilliant. And have you ever heard these two instruments play together before? No. Well, that's great. So we've introduced you to something new. That's really exciting for us, and we're really pleased. So, first of all, just a quick test. What do we call it when I play with the bow? Yes. Pardon? No, that's an organ. You know. Arco! Hooray! Brilliant. What do we call it when I play with my finger? When I pluck the string? Yes. Pizzicato! Fantastic. There we go. We've learned something new there as well. Those words are Italian, by the way. So, you know, we're from England, but we also teach Italian. Handy. Would you like to field some questions?
Yes. Has anybody got any questions about the music, the organ, or the cello? Yes.
How long have you been doing this?
How long have we been doing this? We've been doing it about 6 or 7 years now.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I started playing the organ when I was about 7 years old, or 8 years old. So I couldn't...
More than 7 years ago.
Yes, that was more than 7 years ago, by quite some way. But I couldn't even reach the pedals, so I spent about 5 years while my legs were still growing, kind of reaching the pedals. And Rebecca obviously learnt the cello a lot, you know, a long time ago, but we've only been playing together for about 7 years. Yes.
Do you happen to play The Swan by Camille Saint-Saëns?
We
Is that
do.
in your repertoire?
Yes, it is.
Would you do that if we have time?
Yes, of course. I have to do it unaccompanied, but that's fine.
That's fine. Yes.
How do you like set the buttons?
Well, there's a tiny little button underneath there that's sort of on the underside, and you select the stops, which all the bits on the side are called the stops, and they're all the different sounds. So you choose the ones you want, you hold down the set button, and then you press the button you want to set it on, and it restores it in the organ's memory. So you have to tell it what you want, and then it remembers. Yes.
You like made some music that sounded from The Wizard of Oz a little bit, right, Miss Newcomb? It did.
Yeah.
From the cello.
Oh, which bit was that? Do you remember that bit? Wizard of Oz bit?
I wonder what that was.
Yeah, a little bit was from, remember, the beginning, it was like, that was from when they got to the place where they figure out it would be flames.
Oh, cute.
Oh, brilliant.
There we
I never
go. We didn't
noticed
know that. Thanks.
Thank you. Very good. Any other? Yes.
When you press it down on the keys, does the button on the top go down?
Which button on the top?
The button next on the right and left?
I can't see which button you mean.
Buttons that are hanging down from
Oh, the ones at the very top. No, they're extra stops, so they're stops that actually don't make any sound. So most of the stops on the side are clarinets or flutes or whatever. The ones going across at the top are ones which allow you to couple different sounds together, so they don't actually make any sound. That's what they do. Any questions about cellos, or are they all about the organ? You've already had a go. I'll come back to you in a minute. Yes?
What's the little button at the bottom, like?
The ones at the bottom?
Going to demonstrate.
Yeah, they do exactly the same things as the one on the top, but they're just the ones that you can press with your feet if your hands are too busy doing other things. Yes, let's go over this side. Let's go back here. Yes.
So were y'all playing different instruments or the same instruments?
I also play the piano and the harpsichord, but do you play any other instruments?
Well,
Oh, apparently she does. I didn't know she.
I have a funny story for you. So I didn't always play the cello. I actually started on the violin, and I really wasn't very good at it at all. I was terrible. I made the most horrible squeaky sound, and I was terrible, and I didn't really enjoy practicing. And in desperation, my violin teacher said, "Come and watch me in a concert." So I did, and she was leading an orchestra, so she was in charge of this orchestra. And they played this nice piece. And then they played a cello concerto by Haydn, who's a wonderful classical composer. And I fell in love with the cello when I saw that being played, and then that's when I decided to play the cello. But I do also play the piano as well, but really not as well as the cello. And sometimes Julie and I swap instruments just so that we can hear what the instrument sounds like in a hall or a church. And I think Julie's very good at playing just one note. And I'm not very good at playing the organ, so really, we're best sticking to what we've worked really hard at. We have to do a lot of practice every day, 3 or 4 hours at least, so I don't think there'd be time to do that on another instrument as well. Any more questions? Hello. How old is the cello? That's a great question. Well, this cello is actually, it's like a teenager. I think this is like 18 or 19 years old, so it's very new. But some instruments are so old. They're like 300 or 400 years old, and you have to be so careful with those ones. But I love my cello. That's a great question. Yes?
What's that pointy thing on the bottom?
Ah, this metal thing. This is the spike, and actually, my cello has a nickname, which is Spike, because it's a bit like having a dog or a little baby or something. I have to look after it so carefully, because it's so precious, it's almost so fragile, it's like an eggshell or something, so I have to look after it very carefully. And when we go on the aeroplane, so today we're going back on an aeroplane back to England, I have to buy it a seat, and it goes on the aeroplane as either Mr. Cello or as Spike Hughes, which is my name. So isn't that cool? He has to have his own ticket. Yes?
What's that wood for?
This wood here. Well, that's a great question. So somebody just asked what the wood is in the middle. I'm just going to come over here again so I can hold it up. So, this thing here is called the bridge, and it holds all the strings up. It's not actually even glued down, it's just held by the tension of the strings. And the bridge is, if we didn't have the bridge, it would be more like a guitar, and I'd be strumming away like a banjo. Inside, there's also a stick called a sound post, and that's what makes the cello have that lovely sound. I like this sound. And if it wasn't there, it would just be a horrible flat sound that wouldn't project at all. You wouldn't hear it at the back of the room. Great question. Any more? Keep going. I'm going to come to the back because I'm worried that I'm neglecting all of you at the back. I'm sorry. Hello. Yes.
Would you play a little bit of the Martin
Pardon?
range?
What is it made of? The cello is made of wood, and the strings are made of metal, and this hair is made of horsehair. Yes.
What kind of wood is the cello made of?
My cello is made of maple wood, but they're made of all different kinds of wood, like beech or ash, lots of different kinds of wood. Hello.
What is the black pegs at the top?
I don't know if you can all see, someone just asked what these are. These are called the pegs, and they keep it in tune. And they just make it have the right sound. Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much for being absolutely great. I think we're already at the end. It's gone so fast, but we've had a great time, haven't we, Julian?
We have. It's been amazing. And you've been amazing for being so attentive and a great audience.
And we hope to see you again next time we come. Will you come and watch us in a concert if we come back? Yeah, great, fantastic. And we'll come and watch you in concerts too if you're doing them. And I hope to see lots of cellists next time I'm here. You're all going to go home and say, can I play the cello? It's really fun, I promise. Just like the organ.
It is, absolutely. And we've got a dash because our plane leaves in about 2 hours. So we will see you all again very soon. Bye-bye. Bye.
Also